Next up on the Cosmic News Network, First Contact with Joshua.
Good morning, Earthlings. Good. How you doing today? Good. How you doing today? Welcome to First Contact Radio. Welcome to First Contact Radio. To talk about all these things we're talking about is because in life, everything is energy. Every single thing that's out there.
Yo, it's First Contact with Joshua Poet. He's the man on the mic, just in case you didn't know it. Covering news from all around the globe, from the weather and space to UFOs. We'll talk politics and make you open your eyes. Conspiracy theories and government lies. We'll dig it all up and try to find the proof. Cause the times is demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio. We have arrived. First Contact Radio. We have arrived. First Contact Radio.
It's time to demand
First Contact Radio. We have arrived. First Contact Radio. Good morning, Earthlings. Welcome back to First Contact Radio. How you doing today? All is well out here in Southern California. A rainy day. Hopefully the sun will come out. Hopefully. Nonetheless, we're moving on. Today is the 18th of February. First thing to notice is our moon sign is in Cancer, like it was yesterday. Cancer is a water sign. We have lots of water going on all around us out here. Our sun sign is going to make a transition today. So the rest of today, we're going to be in the sign of Aquarius. However, tonight, we are going to be moving from Aquarius into Pisces, the next sign over. So this is what we're looking at, water. We have air for the conscious mind, unconscious mind, water. The aspects over the course of today, we've had Neptune challenging us to look at things in new ways, look at our emotions in new ways, our feelings. Later tonight, we'd have an opposition with Pluto. Pluto is opposite Cancer. Take a look at where that is here. Okay, here's the moon in Cancer, and there's Pluto right there. Pluto's in Capricorn. Now remember, Capricorn is the tarot card of the devil, so we're looking at the physical reality, physical world, material things, things in the physical world could apply to the body, could apply to career, anything like that. So that is opposite this here, which is feelings, emotions, but it's also the sign of home, mother. So we have this home, feeling of hominess, all the comfort of going inside the womb, opposite this transformation that wants to occur within the physical realm. And so therein lies the challenge, because they're kind of different. Being inside the womb is different than being inside the physical world. And one of them brings deep transformation. One of us puts us in a really emotional place. The idea is, will they both stay on the teeter-totter together? That's the idea. 9:42 p.m., we have a square lesson between our feelings, our emotions with Cancer and Uranus, bringing some sort of unexpected change maybe to our attitude, our feelings. Some information comes in that gives us an opportunity, perhaps through the process of looking at things differently, going through a transformation. We now hit the wall, and something unexpected happens to move us past that. And then finally, 11:34 p.m., we move into the next astrological sign for the conscious mind, and that will be Pisces, and there will be for the next month. Okay, so that's what's going on there today. Moon phase is 83% of the way full. 22nd is the full moon. That would be on Monday. Monday at 10:19 a.m. Pacific time. On the Jewish calendar, 9 Adar, 9 Adar on the Jewish calendar is the date, and the daily thought for today is supply and demand. Time, too, has its weather. There are seasons when the weather hangs in one mode and nothing new knocks on your door for weeks. And there are times when nothing will rest in its place for a moment. Sun, clouds, winds seem to be locked in a battle, and a torrent of demands pounds relentlessly upon your head. There is a mechanism behind these seasons of life. Above, the energy of life throbs in a continual metamorphosis as the portals of heaven expand and contract, so that at times the energy of life is metered out in rhythmic doses, precisely according to what the world can contain. At other times these portals open wide, so wide the soul is overwhelmed with sudden light. In our world, life overflows. There is only one thing to remember. Do not fear the rush of light. Just as he adjusts the flow of light, so he empowers his creatures to receive. When the rivers of life overflow, so too your powers to traverse them. It's kind of like the idea that we're never given something that we can't deal with, you know? So every opportunity or all these distractions in life, all of the moments in life where we have challenges, it's an opportunity to overcome those challenges. And that's kind of the beauty of the whole operation here. We're not just down here on Earth for a vacation. We're down here to learn something, to grow. And the only way we grow is through challenging ourselves. We go to school, we take tests. That's how we know we've learned something. It challenges us. So everything's like a little test that we're being challenged. How are we going to learn? What have we learned? Have we learned a lesson from last time? Or are we still making the same mistakes? Very important things that we're making progress, because if we're making the same old mistakes, that doesn't do anybody any good at all, least of all ourselves. Okay? Okay, right over here, the Mayan Oracle, 9-tone day. 9's called the solar tone of intention. We intend to do something. We put that intention out into the world. Today is the dragon, which is all about giving birth, nurturing ourselves. So we're intending to give birth to who we are, to nurture that part of ourselves that is being born into the world. Synchronicity is our guide for today. Looking in the mirror at our own reflection is our like-minded energy, whereas the challenge is learning to play with the energy around us, seeing the magic of life all around us. And the hidden power is enlightenment, the sun, allowing that light within us to shine bright. The phrase for today is I pulse in order to nurture realizing being. I seal the input of birth with the solar tone of intention. I am guided by the power of navigation. Space weather, the solar wind is currently at 619.6 kilometers per second. Planetary K index is unsettled right now, 4. And over the next 24 hours could get up to a 6. Remember, this is a scale of 9. So when it gets up there, we're getting some real activity. And this is an activity that is necessarily being seen in a physical way. It's energy that's hitting us in subtle ways. And in ways that we don't see, but the energy is very agitated. You can tell just simply by where the KP index is. We are here on Earth, and as the energy around us moves, we are affected by it because we're moving in that field of energy. The energy is unsettled. We need to be aware of that so we can move through it smoothly without being affected by all of the unsettledness of that energy. Alright, the large coronal hole in the bottom seems to be growing larger. The one on the left over here seems like it's going to be moving in position facing us at some point in time, so I'd expect if it keeps moving the way it is over the next couple days, we'll be feeling the wind from there. M-class flare possibility has subsided greatly. It's gone down from 30% now down to 1%. X-class is down to 1% as well. In the mid-latitudes, geomagnetic storm activity is subsiding, going down from 40 to 25, from 20 to 5. In the upper latitudes, from 50 down to 30. So things are subsiding in the energy around us. Remember, the universe breathes in and it breathes out. Breathes in and out. And the 18th said the moon this evening shines in Gemini, straight above Procyon. At nightfall, when the upper right of it later is shown, Jupiter climbs the sky low in the east. The moon and Jupiter are currently about 60 degrees apart. In 5 days, the moon will close the gap to shine right next to the bright planet. Algol shines at its minimum light, magnitude 3.4 instead of its usual 2.1 for a couple of hours. Okay, so here we have the moon almost full, and it's right by the knee here, right in the knee area of a Gemini. Pollux, yeah, Castor, Pollux, the two little stars up here of Gemini, representing the heads, and right down here by the knee. And then, of course, if we look from the knee here and we kind of move it outward, there we see Procyon. Okay, Orion is over here to the far right, somewhere. And if you look for like Orion's belt, those three little stars, and you look to the left of it, that's where you're going to see Gemini. Okay, so there you go. That's our cosmic weather. That's the energy around us that we're dealing with today, so we can plan accordingly as we go into the world. Remember, we got the physical energy that is producing the weather that's around us, but then we have the subtle energy. And that's kind of what we're looking at here. We're looking at the subtle energy, because that subtle energy affects us in ways that we don't realize. And if we're not aware that we're being hit by energies, then we're just kind of bounced around like a pinball in a game. And I don't like being bounced around probably any more than anybody else. So if there's a way to understand that, I think that it's helpful to me, to you, to all of us to be aware. So that's the whole point there. All right, UFO news is up next. Let's get to it.
This is the UFO News with Joshua Poet.
All right, Dirk, thank you very much. UFO news. We have 6 stories today. 6 stories today. Story number 1. This isn't necessarily UFO, but it is something unidentified. It's this shadowy thing here. Dogs run away when this shape got here. Video recorded by a small boy in Rwanda this year. It shows an entity. We're not going to see the video, not available in our country. Why? What's wrong with our country, huh? Video was recorded by a small boy in Rwanda this year. It shows an entity hovering and moving towards the dogs. As it gets close to the dogs, they scatter. It's proof that the dogs can sense or see entities that the human eyes cannot. Often during UFO cases, the animals around will cause an uproar, and especially dogs. Fantastic catch of an alien energy entity exploring the streets of Rwanda. This is over at UFO Sighting Daily, Scott C. Waring. You can see the image right there. It looks kind of ghost-like. Can't really see heads or shapes or anything, but whatever it is, maybe this is this it right here? Is this the 2 eyes and the head, maybe? All right. Have to scout around on the internet, see if we can find this video anywhere. All right, here's another UFO entering a volcano, the Colima volcano. Not the first time we've seen this, of course. Webcams de Mexico.com, where you can see the webcams that are pointing at several of these different volcanoes. The UFO was caught shooting out of Colima volcano this week. The long tubular shape is consistent with other UFOs seen entering the volcano in the past. It takes still photos every few seconds, and it's difficult to say if it's coming or going. Fantastic catch by StreetCap1, who catches a lot of UFOs. Okay, there you go right there. Next, we have a UFO or witness captures a stunning UFO photo. Object in question, right here, is a little bit enlarged. The remarkable shape was described moving through the skies before vanishing from view. It had a domed top, and the man who spotted it, and in his photo shown it hovering over the Newton Abbot Divan. The sensational sighting follows another last month in Bristol, where mysterious alien sounds were heard shortly before. Devon local John, who shared the picture online, described the close encounters with the craft is jaw-dropping. He said, I had an incredible sighting on the 19th of January of a flying saucer. I was skywatching when I noticed a black object far off in the distance in the direction I was looking. The black object got bigger as it came closer. I could see clearly that the object was in fact a flying saucer, and I could see a dome on the top of the saucer. John, who spotted the UFO on the 19th at 1:10 p.m., proclaimed the unbelievable shape to be an alien craft. The flying saucer turned back to the direction from where it had come from and then disappeared off into the distance out of sight. I got a very good look at this alien craft, and all I could say is, wow. Okay. China to operate the largest radio telescope ever in hopes to find intelligent alien life. China is looking to level up the research for intelligent life outside of Earth that is preparing for the world's largest radio telescope. Nearly 10,000 people will be relocated from their homes to give way to the project that is expected to intensify the search for intelligent beings in the universe. The presence of people in the area could interfere with telescopes' electromagnetism and is the reason residents should evacuate their homes. The FAST will surpass the largest telescopes in Puerto Rico, and with its 500-mile wide aperture spherical radio telescope, the Arecibo Observatory in Puerto Rico only has around 300 meters in diameter. The telescope, which is due to be operational later in 2016, costs 1.2 billion yuan. It is a high level of sensitivity that necessary to accomplish what they are looking outside of the galaxy, according to the Director General of the Chinese Astronomical Society, Wu Lingbing. China is increasing in spending its astronomy and accelerating its multi-billion space exploration program. Interesting, it also eyes to be the first team to discover not just alien life, but extraterrestrial being with intelligence that is expected to be more advanced than humans. Okay. Very interesting. Be interesting to see how this is happening. It says the reason residents should evacuate. So it sounds like they're going to build this and people don't have a choice, that they should evacuate. Interesting. I wonder how they're going to implement that. Important things to know when you spot a UFO. Are you wondering what to do if you see some strange things and surprising bright objects in the sky? Well, it's always a good idea to watch it and enjoy the experience that may come once in your lifetime. It will be helpful to researchers if you can note where the object comes from and to what direction the object goes, especially if you care to report your sightings later. If you are with someone during the sighting, you need to agree on the object's shape and take note of your location from the objects and the time of the sighting. When it comes to reporting, don't contact the Air Force, as they stopped collecting UFO sighting information in 1969. Also, don't call the media, as most of them think people who do such things are either nuts or hoaxers. If the UFO is landed, or if present danger to the public safety or property, then it'd be better to call law enforcement. However, if you just want to share your UFO sighting, don't bother police, as they have more important things to do than just hear your story. If you want to register your sighting online, it may help UFO researchers. It's recommended you file a UFO report with MUFON or NUFORC. There's various reporting agencies out there. It says when reporting, state the color, shape, size, direction of motion, and tell if there are any sound coming from the object. It's also helpful to include the city, town, village, as well as the state of the sighting. Other people might report the same sighting, and this helps UFO investigators to correlate mass sightings. UFO sightings tend to increase during the spring, and if you see one, just enjoy the experience. And one more story here. Jacques Vallée, A Wonder in the Sky, Breakthrough UFO Research. Wonders in the Sky melds beauty, science, art, and scholarship. The new benchmark in UFO research. Help us uncover the reality of ancient UFOs. We've relaunched our campaign based on the initial success of the early collaborators who have already observed the first 150 books. Their contributions have enabled us to finish the research and the layout for the book, which is now being printed in China, with an expected release date in the U.S. in May 2016. Wonders in the Sky is a collector's limited edition by world-leading UFO researchers Jacques and Chris Aubeck, which presents the scientific research and artistic beauty of 424 UFO sightings prior to the Industrial Revolution. This is the new benchmark of UFO research. Under our contact with the initial publisher of the paperback edition of Wonders in the Sky, we've agreed no more than 500 copies of this exceptional limited edition will ever be printed. The text has been augmented with many new cases, a new round of analysis of all previous cases, and stunning new iconography will be in high resolution color. There's only 348 copies still left for subscription. Okay, so there you go. That's our UFO news. You know, I had one of the comments was in regards to the word alien. And I know that we use that word. We've gotten used to using that word, but it's probably not the proper word for using. The word when we're describing beings from out of this world, probably better use would be extraterrestrials. Extraterrestrials, those beings who are otherworldly, off planet. You know, terrestrial being Earth, extra, more than Earth, so off of the Earth. Because I do understand, I get lazy. I use the word aliens. Others use the word aliens, but it isn't really fully describing what they are. You know, what is alien? It just has various definitions, from dealing with corporations to dealing with those who are not from the same country. But we're not talking about beings who are from this country. We're talking about beings who are off-world. So things do change a little bit, and I know we have lots of words and things out there that we use. I think it's just important that we understand that even though we use these words, where they all come from, how they all connect, and so on, so we don't get confused. A lot of words we use, a lot of words have lots of meanings, so just thought I'd throw that out there. And that's our UFO news. I'll be back momentarily. I think we're going to wake up right now. Here we go.
What if our government was responsible for some of the greatest crimes against this nation? Would you really want to know? These are big questions, but these questions deserve answers. It's time to demand the truth.
People should not be afraid of their governments. Governments should be afraid of
9/11 was an inside job. Kennedy was killed by the CIA. Jimmy Carter saw UFO. Answers to secrets you need to know. So wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. The evidence is overwhelming. Step past your fear, take a look. Illuminati lies keep growing, but they're illusion from your eyes. And wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. What would our founding fathers say if they were alive today? Must be turning in their graves. Redcoats are coming, Big Brother's watching. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up.
All right. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. It's important that we're awake, paying attention, because if we're asleep, a lot of things can slip by us. Lots of things can slip by us, and that's the problem, because there's a lot of people sleepwalking through life, unaware of what's going on. You know, in the last video you just saw, there was clips there of the media. It says, what would our founding fathers say if they were alive today? And the various media, because we have really 6 companies that are controlling everything. And if we look back to the Council on Foreign Relations, they've been controlling media since the early 1900s. So everything's controlled. Now, there are those within the media that want to put information out, but they find out once they're involved with the establishment media that there are lots of challenges they're facing because those who are often involved in the higher levels of these establishment media, they have their agendas on what they're putting out. So that's the problem. So we have to learn not to buy into everything that goes on when a person turns on the news. You're not really seeing news. If you're watching Fox and you're expecting they're going to be telling you real news, you're not getting real news. You're not getting real news on MSNBC or CNN, any of the established news networks. Sure, they'll tell stories that are happening in the world. They keep you up to date. There'll be some things they seem right on point with, but there's a lot of agendas that are pushed through all of these shows, from racist agendas to political agendas to, government and security agendas. So all of this brings us to the point of I just want to throw in my 2 cents in regards to this particular issue that's taking place right now, and that's with Apple. We've got a situation where San Bernardino, remember the shooting that took place in San Bernardino? We're told that this husband and wife were Muslim, and they went ahead and they did this shooting, and these people died. And so if we take that story at face value, then it's, we take it at that. Now, if we look further, we see that maybe there's something more to the story than that, because we've also heard reports that there were multiple shooters on the scene. And it's quite possible that this husband and wife were just used for an agenda. The feds, the government often do that. They find those who are vulnerable. They find ways to get in and push an agenda. And you can always tell the agenda by what is said after they get done. If you go back and you rewatch a lot of the footage from what took place in San Bernardino, you see a lot of those who are giving talks about what happened, interviews. They seem to have an agenda. There's a lot of Masonic connections. There's various issues that were brought up. Gun control is brought up right away. Things that lead you to believe that there's something more than meets the eye. Now, over the years, there's been attempts to try to subvert security in this country by telling Americans that they need to give up their security because of the cyber threat that is upon us. And so they've tried various ways to pass cyber security bills, SOPA, PIPA. There's new bills that are out there, pre-crime bills that are trying to be passed, pre-crime technology that is being worked on. And in all of these things, Americans are barraged with all of this information. What do they do? What do they do? What do we give up? What are we supposed to believe? So the current thing that's going on is they're trying to unlock, they say, this phone from these two shooters. And there's an uproar because Apple is now being sued by the government in order to provide information to them. And so if we were to take that story at face value, we might think that, okay, Apple's really got a problem because they're not wanting to cooperate with an investigation. They're not wanting to help catch the bad guys. So whose side are they on? It's easy to jump to that conclusion, but we have to look further. We have to look further because let's ask the question first. Who owned the phone? The phone was owned by the Riverside County government. So it was a government phone. So we have a government agency, the feds, who are telling us about Apple, but it's owned by the government. Okay? A government agency owns the phone. And so if there's an issue, first and foremost, the government agency that owns the phone is the one who is impeding the investigation of the feds. So we need to look at that and see what reality exists there. The other thing we need to look at is the information on the phone. They say that they need Apple to unlock this phone. Do you really believe in 2016 that the men at the FBI, the men and women at the FBI or the NSA can't unlock a phone? Do you really believe that to be true? Come on, you can go on to YouTube now and you can watch videos of kids unlocking cell phones, unlocking encrypted technology. We hear stories every day of hackers that are getting into technology and things. So the chances that they haven't already gotten to that phone, in my opinion, are slim to none. So if they've already gotten to that phone and got the information, what's the problem? The problem is that we are still a nation of laws. And when you go to court, things have to be done by the letter of the law, otherwise they get dismissed from court. So if the feds take the information which they got off the phone illegally because they didn't have the right to do that, and they go to court and they present that information, you know what happens to that information? It gets thrown out. Bad guys get off, case closed. But I don't think that's what any American wants. Americans want to have justice. Well, there's no justice served if those who are you trying to get off because you use information that was obtained illegally. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to find a reason why they could justify having the information that they most likely already have. Okay? So now the problem is that they're saying Apple's not agreeing. Well, what they're wanting to do, because imagine this, if your phone was locked, let's say you had an Apple phone and you had a problem with it. Why could not the feds just walk into any Apple store, say, here's my phone, I'm going to set my phone down, I'm going to turn my back, and you type in the code on that phone, the security thing, so that I can go in and I could see the information I need to see. Why couldn't that just happen? Seems like it'd be very plausible, because if Apple wrote a piece of software that included encryption, most likely they also understand how to unlock that encryption. And there's no special code needed to be written, and there's no new operating system need to be written. So why don't they do that? The reason they don't do that is because they want more than that. What they want is Apple to actually write a piece of software that will go on every phone, so that in the event they need to use it, they can easily access every phone. They're going to say, oh, but we just want to go for this one particular phone. But they don't want one particular phone. They want access to all phones. They want an operating system that has a back door. Well, the moment you have an operating system with a back door and it goes out into the world, guess what? You've just made yourself vulnerable to every hacker who has the ability to go in and to do some hacking. Big problem. Apple knows this. Apple knows that if they put a backdoor in their phone, they're going to lose tremendous amount of customers who are not going to want to have their phones jeopardized because they gave up the information on that phone. So in this case, you have to think one Apple customer equals every Apple customer. Because if you say let's give up their rights, then you're giving up your rights and your neighbor's rights and everybody's rights. And that's the problem. So we need to look at this situation and wonder what they're really trying to do. Because if they just want to get the information off the phone, again, take it to the Genius store, give them the phone, turn your back while they type in the code to unlock the phone, and there you go. And since the Riverside county government is the one who owns the phone, it was a work phone, should be a no-brainer. But again, something more is going on, and if the American people don't look beyond that, if they simply look at, oh, Apple's trying to obstruct justice, Apple supports, then you're missing the point. Ben Franklin made a quote, those who give up security for freedom deserve neither. And this is one of those cases. And when you have a society that is dumbed down the way Americans have been dumbed down through the educational process, they go and they think that the things that are happening aren't real or are different or believe everything they're told. Hey, I'm for having the terrorists caught. I don't want to see madmen or women running around in the world causing problems. But I know that if they take this information and they illegally go into a court, anyone who is a defender of those the Muslim groups that are going to court, any prosecutor or every defender would rip that thing apart and throw it out of court in a minute, because they'd say that was gained illegally, inadmissible. No good. So we have to look at the process that is in place and understand it more than just on a surface level of, oh, Apple's really trying to do the bad thing and the wrong thing here. Apple's trying to protect your rights, my rights, and the rights of everyone who owns an Apple product by making sure that there is not a backdoor piece of software on there that is going to allow anybody who can hack a device to hack into that and therefore steal your information. So what I put here is this is the actual letter that was written from Apple to its customers. Here's one important point here. It says, rather than asking for legislative action through Congress, the FBI is proposing an unprecedented use of the All Writs Act of 1789 to justify an expansion of its authority. The government would have us remove security features and add new capabilities to the operating system, allowing a passcode to be input electronically. This would make it easier to unlock an iPhone by brute force using thousands of millions of combinations with the speed of a modern computer. The implication of the government demands are chilling. If the government can use the All Writs Act to make it easier to unlock your phone, it would have the power to reach into anyone's device to capture their data. Okay, so Americans need to think, do you really trust your government enough that you want to give them this power and just say, yeah, I trust them enough, they're not going to abuse it? Or has there been examples of government abuse? Of course there is. So we need to think about what's going on, and we need to understand the precedent that might be set if we're short-sighted in understanding what this is really about. Okay, Americans can't just be giving up their freedoms. We want to catch the bad guys, but we don't want to jeopardize the good guys in the process. Okay, all of us have information, and we want to be able to share the information that we want with the world through the various networks. We want to also be able to protect our information. But we know that in order to be able to use this technology, we need to input private information, and we do so willingly, trusting that those who are going to have that aren't going to abuse that. And as long as that's the case, it's all well and good. But once someone starts abusing that information as they have, it becomes very dangerous. And that is the problem, my friends. That's the problem. We're not being told the full truth. Think about it. Do you really think in 2016 the FBI or the NSA can't crack that code on Apple? Really? But you're going to believe that they can hack into other governments, but they can't crack an iPhone? They can go and look. It's silly when you really think about it. All we got to do is just use our common sense to realize they've already cracked into the phone. They most likely already found the information they need. They just need a justification on how they can go and use that in court, because if they use anything that they've obtained illegally in court, the judge will throw it out, the defense will throw it out, and the bad guys get off. That's it. Plain and simple. It's not a difficult situation if you really look at it. But if we use our emotions and jump into it in that way, then we're all goofed up. All right. A little long-winded on there. I want to get now over to the Nag Hammadi. But I did want to throw my 2 cents in because I think it's an important issue that we need to understand as Americans. All right. This is called Eugnostos the Blessed. Eugnostos the Blessed, to those who are his. Rejoice in this that you know. Greetings. I want you to know that all men are born from the foundation of the world until now are dust. While they have inquired about God, he who is and what he is like, they have not found him. The wisest among them have speculated about the truth from the ordering of the world, and the speculation has not reached truth. For the ordering is spoken of in 3 different opinions by all of the philosophers. Hence, they do not agree. For some of them, they say that the world is directed by itself. Others, that it is providence that directs it. Others, that it is fate. But it is none of these. Again, the 3 voices that I have just mentioned, none is true, for whatever is from itself is an empty life. It is self-made. Providence is foolish. Fate is an undiscerning thing. Whoever then is able to get free of these 3 voices I have just mentioned and comes by means of another voice to confess the God of truth and agree in everything concerning him, he is immortal, dwelling in the midst of mortal men. He who is ineffable. No principle knew him, no authority subjugation, nor any creature from the foundation of the world, except he alone. For he is immortal and eternal, having no birth, for everyone who has birth will perish. He is unbegotten, having no beginning, for everyone who has a beginning has an end. No one rules over him. He has no name, for whoever has a name is the creation of another. He is unnameable, for he has no human form, for whoever has human form is the creation of another. He has his own semblance, not like the semblance we have received and seen, but a strange semblance that surpasses all things and is better than the totalities. It looks to every side and sees itself from itself. He is infinite. He is incomprehensible. He is ever imperishable and has no likeness to anything. He is unchanging good. He is faultless. He is everlasting. He is blessed. He is unknowable, while he nonetheless knows himself. He is immeasurable. He is untractable. He is perfect, having no defect. He is imperishably blessed. He is called Father of the universe. Before anything is visible among those that are visible, the majesty and the authorities that are in him, he embraces the totalities of totalities, and nothing embraces him. For he is all mind, thought, and reflecting, considering rationality and power. They are all equal powers. They are the sources of the totalities, and their whole race, from the first to the last, is the foreknowledge of the unbegotten, for they had not yet come to visibility. Now a difference existed among the imperishable aeons. Let us then consider it this way. Everything that came from the perishable will perish, since it came from the perishable. Whatever came from imperishableness will not perish, but will become imperishable, since it came from imperishableness. So many men went astray because they had not known this difference, that is, they died. But this much is enough, since it is important or impossible for anyone to dispute the nature of the words I have just spoken about the blessed, imperishable, true God. Now, if anyone wants to believe the words set down here, let him go from what is hidden to the end of what is visible, and this thought will instruct him how faith in those things that are not visible was found in what is visible. This is a principle of knowledge. The Lord of the universe is not rightly called Father, but Forefather. For the Father is the beginning, or the principle, of what is visible. For he is the Lord. He is beginningless. Forefather. He sees himself within himself, like a mirror, having appeared in his likeness as self-father, that is self-begetter and confronter, since he confronted unbegotten first existent. He is indeed of equal age with the one who is before him, but he is not equal to him in power. Afterward he revealed many confronting self-begotten ones, equal in age and power, being in glory and without number, who are called the generation over whom there is no kingdom among the kingdoms that exist. And the whole multitude of the place over which there is no kingdom is called the sons of unbegotten Father. Now the unknowable is ever full of imperishableness and ineffable joy. They are all at rest in him, ever rejoicing in ineffable joy over the unchanging glory and the measureless jubilation that was never heard or known among all the aeons in their worlds. But this much is enough, lest we go on endlessly. This is another principle of knowledge from self-begotten. The first who appeared before the universe in infinity is self-grown, self-constructed Father, and is full of shining, ineffable light. In the beginning, he decided to have his likeness become a great power. Immediately, the principle or the beginning of that light appeared as immortal androgynous man. His male name is Begotten, Perfect Mind, and his female name is All-Wise, Begettress, Sophia. It is also said that she resembles her brother and her consort. She is uncontested truth, for here below, error which exists, the truth contested. Though a mortal man appeared, The first designation, namely divinity and kingdom for the Father, who is called Self-Father-Man, revealed this. He created a great aeon for his own majesty. He gave him great authority, and he ruled over all creations. He created gods and archangels, myriads without number for retinue. Now, through this man originated divinity and kingdom. Therefore he was called God of God, King of Kings. First man is faith, otherwise known as pistis, for those who will come afterward. He has within a unique mind and thought, just as he is thought, reflecting and considering rationality and power. All the attributes that exist are perfect and immortal. In respect to imperishableness, they are indeed equal. But in respect to power, there is difference, like the difference between father and son and thought, thought and the remainder. As I said earlier, among the things that were created, the monad is first. The dyad follows it, the triad up to the tenths. Now the tenths rule the hundredths rule the thousands rule the 10,000s. This is the pattern among the immortals. First man is like this, his monad. Again, it is this pattern that exists among the immortals. The monad and the thought are those things that belong to the immortal man. The thinking are for the deeds, the decades, and the hundreds, and the teachings, and the thousands, and the councils, and the 10,000s are the powers. Now those who come from the exist with their in every aeon. I have some missing words there. In the beginning, thought and thinking appeared from mind, then teaching from thinkings, counsels from teachings, and power from counsels. And after all the attributes, all that was revealed appeared from his powers. And from what was created, what was fashioned appeared. And what was formed appeared from what was fashioned. What was named appeared from what was formed, while the difference among begotten things appeared from what was named, from beginning to end, by power of all aeons. Now immortal man is full of every imperishable glory and ineffable joy. His whole kingdom rejoices in everlasting rejoicing. Those who never have ever heard or known in any aeon that came after them in its worlds. Afterward, another principle came from immortal man, who is called self-perfected begetter. When he received the consent of his consort, great Sophia, he revealed that the first begotten androgyne, who is called first begotten Son of God. His female aspect is first begotten Sophia, Mother of the Universe, whom some call Love. Now first begotten, since he has his authority from the Father, created angels, myriads without number for retinue. The whole multitude of these angels are called assembly of the holy ones, the shadowless lights. Now when these greet each other, their embraces become like angels themselves. First begetter Son is called Adam of light, and the kingdom of Son of Man is full of ineffable joy and unchanging jubilation, ever rejoicing in ineffable joy over the imperishable glory which has never been heard, nor has it been revealed to all the aeons that came to be in their worlds. Then Son of Man consented with Sophia, his consort, and revealed a great androgynous light. His masculine name is designated Savior, begetter of all things. His feminine name is designated Sophia, all begettress. Some call her Pistis, faith. Then Savior consented with his consort, Pistis Sophia, and revealed 6 androgynous spiritual beings, who are the type of those who precede them. Their male names are these: first unbegotten, second self-begotten, third begetter, fourth first begetter, fifth all begetter, sixth arch-begetter. Also the names of the females are these: first all-wise Sophia, second all-mother Sophia, third all-begettress Sophia, fourth first begettress Sophia, fifth love Sophia, sixth pistis Sophia. From the consenting of those I have just mentioned, thoughts appeared in the aeons that exist. From thoughts, reflectings from reflectings, considerings from considerings, rationalities from rationalities, wills from wills, words. Then the 12 powers whom I just described consented with each other. 6 males and females each were revealed, so that there are 72 powers. Each of these 72 revealed 5 spiritual powers, which together are the 360 powers. The union of them all is the will. Therefore, our aeon is to be as the type of immortal man. Time came to be as the type of first begetter, his son. The year came to be as the type of Savior. The 12 months came to be as the type of the 12 powers. The 360 days of the year came to be as the 360 powers who appeared from Savior. Their hours and moments came to be as the type of the angels who came from them, who are without number. And when these whom I have discussed appeared, all begetter, their father very soon created 12 aeons for retinue for the 12 angels. And in each aeon there were 6 heavens, so that there are 72 heavens of each of the 72 powers who appeared from him. And in each of the heavens there were 5 firmaments, so there are altogether 360 firmaments of the 360 powers that appeared from them. When the firmaments were complete, they were called the 360 heavens, according to the names of the heavens that were before them. All of these are perfect and good, and in this way the defective femaleness appeared. The first aeon is that of immortal man. The second aeon is that of the Son of Man, who is called the first begetter, who is the Savior, that which embraces these in the aeon over which there is no kingdom, the aeon of the eternal infinite God, the aeon of the immortals who are in it, the aeon above the 8th that appears in chaos. Now immortal man revealed aeons and powers and kingdoms, and gave authority to everyone who appeared from him to make whatever they desire until the days that they are above chaos. For these consented with each other and revealed every magnificence, even from spirits, multitudinous lights that are glorious and without number. These received names in the beginning, that is, the first, the middle, the perfect, that is the first aeon, the second, and the third. The first is called unity and rest, since each one has its own name. The third aeon was designated assembly, from the great multitude that appeared in the multitudinous ones. Therefore, when the multitude gathers and comes to a unity, they are called assembly, from the assembly that surpassed heaven. Therefore, the assembly of the 8th was revealed as androgynous, and was named partly as male and partly as female. The male was called assembly, the female life, that it might be shown that from a female came the life in all the aeons. Every name was received, starting from the beginning. From his concurrence with his thought, the powers appeared, who were called gods, and the gods from their considerings revealed divine gods, and the gods from their considerings revealed lords, and the lords from their words revealed lords, and the lords from their powers revealed archangels. The archangels revealed angels, and from them the semblance appeared with structure and form, for naming all the aeons and their worlds. All the immortals whom I've just described have authority, all of them from the power of immortal man, and Sophia, his consort, whom is called Silence, who is named Silence because by reflecting without speech she perfected her own majesty. Since the imperishabilities had the authority, each provided great kingdoms in all of the immortal heavens, and their firmaments, thrones, temples for their own majesty. Some indeed who are in the dwellings and in chariots, being in ineffable glory, and not able to be sent into any creature, provide for themselves hosts of angels, myriads without number for retinue and glory, even virgin spirits, the ineffable lights. They have no sickness nor weakness, but it is only will, and it comes to be in an instant. Thus they were completed the aeons with the heavens and firmaments, for the glory of immortal man, and Sophia his consort, the area which contained the pattern of every aeon and the worlds, and those that came afterward, in order to provide the types from here, their likeness in the heavens, the chaos of their worlds. And all the natures from the immortal one, from unbegotten to the revelation of chaos, all are in light that shines without shadow and in ineffable joy, and unutterable jubilation. They ever delight themselves on account of their glory that does not change, and the rest that is not measured, which cannot be described or conceived among all the aeons that came to be and their powers. But this much is enough. All I have just said to you, I just said in the way that you might accept, until the one who need not be taught appears among you, and he will speak all these things to you joyously and in pure knowledge. Eugnostos the Blessed. Now this particular text has some similarity to the Sophia of Jesus Christ, and as I read through the story, I could understand the difference. I'm sure you could understand if you put them side by side and compare them, you see. But again, it's just another piece of information that is teaching us something very important and is saying the same things. What I really enjoy about the Nag Hammadi library codices and the apocryphal text is they say the same things. It's the same story. It doesn't change. Whereas when you look at the books that are edited by men, the Bible, we have a back and forth between the Almighty God, the Father, and then the being who was claiming to be God, Yaldabaoth. And so it goes back and forth between these beings, Yaldabaoth or Yahweh, Jehovah, and it goes back and forth between these beings, and we don't necessarily know which is which. And that's the confusing part, because, again, to me it is very important that we understand who was the creator of us. And as we come to understand in this material realm, it isn't the Father that created us. It was the fallen one that created us. It was the one that was cast out with the head of a lion and the body of a serpent. That fallen one, the error, the chief archon, is the one that went out. And it had power and created. And this reality where we live now, this skin suit we wear, was created by this fallen being. So when we read the Bible, it's a great story, but it doesn't really let us know the true entity, the true identity of the entity who is doing the creating. For if it started off and it let us know that this was the fallen one that created all of this, we might have a different perspective on what all of this meant. But we're not led to believe that or led along that path of understanding. And therein lies the problem, because we are deceived right from the beginning. So the Nag Hammadi, in my opinion, clears all that up, because it lets us know from the words of Yeshua, from the apostles, from the writers of that time. It lets us know the understanding of the truth about who is the creator and who is not the creator. And if we have that understanding, it just helps us to move through the world, because now we know a little bit more about the nature and the structure of what's taking place in our reality. Okay? So that is Nag Hammadi Library for today. I'll find another one for tomorrow. In the meantime, let's move on to a channeled message for today. This is Archangel Gabriel.
Archangel Gabriel Daily Message tilde Wednesday, February 17, 2016 by Shelley Young. If you have ever had a sliver in your finger that you could not get out, you know that if you leave it be, your body will push it to the surface so it can be removed once and for all. You would not see it there and shriek, "Ack, a sliver. I don't want to see that," and push it back down, would you? Nor would you worriedly check your entire body for slivers every day. You would simply accept that your body knew exactly what it was doing. You would give it whatever support it needed when the sliver was ready to be expelled, and you would carry on. It is the same with your old wounds and emotions that no longer serve you. Your body knows exactly what it is doing, and will push anything that doesn't belong up into your awareness so you can release it. You might need to stop and give yourself a little extra tender care when it is time for the release, but other than that you can count on the fact that it is an incredibly intelligent and efficient system, always designed for your wellness and evolution. So trust, dear ones. Allow what is no longer comfortable in your body to leave with relief. Know that you have everything you need and you are being guided and supported in all ways, as you continue to energetically refine and evolve. Archangel Gabriel.
Okay. Very good. Very good. Brings us to our meditation for today. Go ahead and close your eyes. Take a deep breath and exhale. Take another deep breath and exhale again. And another breath and exhale. Now, just want you to imagine that you're seated on a bench in a park, and you're looking around at the trees and the flowers, the grass, and you see how they grow, live, breathe effortlessly. And as we look at them, we see the beauty of these things. And as we look closely, we see that the energy around them is not stationary, but is moving, vibrating. So though we see it as a solid object, closer inspection reveals the energy that is moving to make that product, tree, flowers, grass. And as we look around the world, we see this energy of life shimmering in the air, shimmering in the sun, shimmering all around. And we realize that life is alive. The energy around us is alive. And as we look at the physical body that we are, we understand that this body has imperfections. But if we look at these imperfections, it's simply the process and the state of our being as being perfected in the same way that the trees and the flowers and the grass are perfected. We rise above the limitations we've imposed upon ourselves. And as we contemplate this energy that moves through all things, we realize the same spirit flows through us. So we feel this spirit, and we feel it connecting with the physical body. And we understand that the spirit connects to a higher source. So we follow this source from our being in the visible realms. We follow this energy to the invisible realms, the realms of the immortal. And we understand that this energy flows and emanates from the Almighty Father through the Christ to each and every one. And as such, we all have the opportunity to be Christ-like simply by allowing that light of the Christ to shine through us. Take a moment to give thanks to Yeshua, Jesus Christ, who walked upon this planet, that came to show us that we are more than just the physical, that we rise above it. And through his example, through his sacrifice, the veil between the world of the visible and the invisible was removed. That the veil of illusion was removed and allowing us the opportunity to see past the ignorance, to see the truth of all reality. So we give thanks, Father, for all that you have done to open our eyes, to open our ears. We thank you for the blessings of life that flow through us this moment, now, all the moments of the past, and all the moments of the future. And we give all the praise and glory to you, Father, for we know that it is this light, this spirit, this energy of you that allows us to grow, breathe, live, experience. So let's imagine ourselves just walking along the path of life today, just experiencing others, observing the way their energy moves and interacts, how our energy moves and interacts. And as we observe, we learn. So let's just imagine ourselves learning more about who we are as we look at the reflections of the world shining back at us. So let the subconscious mind continue on the journey, observing, and let's bring the conscious mind back to the present moment on the count of 3. 3 coming back to the present moment filled with confidence. 2 coming back to the present moment filled with faith. And 1 coming back to the present moment happy, healthy, and whole. Happy, healthy, and whole. Take another deep breath. Exhale, and open your eyes. All right. That's it, my friends. Thank you yet again for being here. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for your emails. I appreciate it very much. I'm glad that the information that is being shared here makes sense to you. Because if it doesn't make sense, then what's the point, right? But I'm glad that you appreciate the information, and I will keep digging and researching and finding. And as always, if there's anything particular that you would like to know or learn about or have me research, you know how to reach me. Do it at Facebook, you can do it at YouTube, you can do it on my email, firstcontactradio@yahoo.com. Always lead to me. All right, my friends, that's it. Have an awesome day. Just observe what's going on around you. Observe the energies. See how the energy of Aquarius plays out, how the air. See how people use the energies of the subconscious, of Cancerian energy. See how that air and the water play out. Just be an observer. And as you observe, you'll see a great many things that will help you understand more of who you are. That's it for today. I will be back tomorrow. Until then, have an awesome day. I love you. Keep loving each other, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace. I'm out of here.